Hello Facebook world! I am sitting here with someone I respect a lot, Dr. Mordechai Kedal. Thank you very much for being here.
My pleasure, my honor.
It is very early, only 11 o'clock at night here in Israel.
Well, the night is young.
The night is young. Wonderful. So, we're talking tonight about the new form of anti-Semitism today. There is a new movie called Beyond Paranoia that you appear in, and it deals specifically with this topic, the new form of anti-Semitism today. So I guess the first question is, what is this new form of anti-Semitism, and why is it so important for people to understand it by watching this movie?
Well, today anti-Semitism is hiding behind a mask, and the mask is actually anti-Israelism, anti-Zionism, because, especially after the Second World War, to be anti-Semitic, it's not nice. People might associate with the Nazis. It's not so easy, not so nice. So people say, well, we criticize Israel, but implicitly, they definitely are the messages which too many people who talk about Israel send are actually anti-Jewish, not anti-Israeli, anti-Jewish, and for them, every Jew in the world is to be blamed and punished for what Israel is doing. That's why today Jewish communities who lived for centuries in Europe and many years also in the United States of America feel very uncomfortable because of the so-called anti-Israeli message and propaganda, which is actually an anti-Jewish, traditional anti-Semitism, coated with a new message of anti-Israel, anti-Zionism.
Do you feel that enough Jews understand this new form of anti-Semitism? That anti-Israelism really is anti-Semitism?
Yes, I think everybody who experiences any phenomenon of hatred definitely senses it. The question is if Jews understand that it's not about Israel, although explicitly it is against Israel, right. Implicitly it's against Jews. Some Jews tend to deny it and to blame Israel for undermining their status wherever they live, forgetting that even before the State of Israel was established, there was not much love to Jews in many cases. Look, Jews were not accepted in many clubs in the United States of America in the 40s and the 50s, regardless of Israel. And all kinds of other phenomena of pushing Jews out of all kinds of areas, like in the academy and in all kinds of professional arenas. Jews were not easily accepted. And in some hotels, the breakers?
Yes, right. Some hotels the Jews were forbidden.
Well, and this was not about Israel.
Right.
It was about Jews.
Right.
So today, to blame Israel, that Israel is the reason for pushing Jews out of anything, is totally detached from reality and from history. So this is why I think that there is no anti-Israelism which is not motivated by anti-Judaism. However, what happens today, and this is the new phenomenon, is the meeting of the traditional Christian European anti-Semitism, right, which also immigrated to Americas, both the northern and southern, and the Islamic anti-Semitism or anti-Jewish message, which today are meeting in Europe, in America, especially in American campuses, because I think that it is more than clear that the more Muslims are on any campus, the more vicious is the propaganda against the Jewish students on that campus. There is a very clear correlation between the percentage of Muslim students in any academic institution and the activity against Israel, means the Jews,
Right.
who are, at least by Muslims, associated with Israel, whether they are associated or not.
Right.
So this is what I think today is the new anti-Semitism, coated by anti-Israeli, anti-occupation, as some would say,
Right.
anti-Zionist, which only uses Israel and Zionism as fig leaves in order to cover the real intention and the real target.
Right. Everyone who's joined, I'm here sitting with Dr. Mordechai Kedar, expert of Islam, Middle East, and much more. We're talking about the movie called Beyond Paranoia by Monique Schwartz, which deals with today's new anti-Semitism, which is anti-Israelism. Now, you just raised a good point, which I'm going to follow you up on, which is the Muslim world, okay, and which is where your expertise is. Before that, you raised the college campuses, and I speak to college students every once in a while. And one of my main messages to them is, you know why you have to know your current events about Israel and know your history, ancient history of the Jewish people in Israel and your current Israel history? Because when you're on college campus and you see all those protests against Israel and they're coming after you, they're not coming after you because of Israel, they're coming after your Jewish identity. So if you want to be secure and confident in your Jewish identity, you must be on top of being able to stand up and defend Israel, because it's really about standing up for yourself.
Yes, but unfortunately what happens is that some Jews tend to believe that if they will be against Israel as well,
right, and they'll be saved.
Muslims will love them, will hug them and kiss them. And that's why you see too many Jews who are active in organizations like JVP, Jewish Voice for Peace, and
Students for Justice of Palestine.
Right, all these
anti-Israeli
organizations, because those Jews who take part in these organizations hope that the crocodile will eat them the last if they are nice to the crocodile. Right. And this is actually something which is totally useless, because even when Jews are part of anti-Israel activity, it doesn't bring them good name, because those Muslims who are seeing the Jews, how they act against Israel, they are more motivated to act more against Israel and against Jews. After all, Jews actually collaborate with them. So to think that this will give them a good image in the eyes of the Muslim, this is totally detached from the reality.
Now, one thing, again, touching upon the Muslim world, one thing that I've learned, and I'm sure I've picked this up from you as well, the influence of Nazism on the Muslim world, on the anti-Semitism of the Muslim world, that you have, on the one hand, you have the inherent anti-Semitism that was in existence in the Muslim world, but even with all the Jews there, we lived for centuries. But yet, then with the Mufti and with the Nazism coming to the Middle East, today's cartoons in Muslim newspapers are those used by the Nazis 60, 70 years ago.
Well, when it comes to Nazism and the anti-Jewish message in our world, or Islamic world, it's a bit more complicated.
Please.
You could see very clearly the Nazi branches of nationalism in Iraq. The brothers Shaukat actually were the center of the Nazi activity in Iraq, which was actually meaning to create a Superman, an Arab Superman, on the expense of all the others, Jews included. You could see a Nazi-like organization in Lebanon, the phalanx of the Christian
really?
Maronites, yes.
Really?
They were walking around with black uniform and the grades on the collar, and they were saluting in this Nazi.
When was this?
In the 30s, when the Nazi ideology was still viewed as legitimate before the Holocaust was found out. And you also we had a Nazi branch in Egypt, and lo and behold, the head of the Nazi movement in Egypt was a young intellectual named Muhammad Anwar al-Sadat.
Okay, really?
Yes. Later,
Wow.
the president of Egypt.
Wow.
He was the head of the Nazi organization of Egypt in the 30s.
Wow.
So the Nazi ideology had echoes also in the Arab world, and some Arabs actually fell in love with this ideology. Later you could also see caricatures against Jews, which definitely were taken, or at least the ideas, from Der Stürmer, the Nazi newspaper, like showing Jews as octopus who tries to take the world, or like a spider, or like cockroaches, which only need some DDT in order to kill them. These things, which were much in the Der Stürmer, or the Jews portrayed with a Jewish nose and the peot and the hat and the beard, of course, this was also copied. The style it was copied also in Arab media, and you know what? Until this very day, you can see these images, the Der Stürmer images, until this very day, appear day after day in Arab newspapers, which publish those caricatures. So definitely there is some kind of proximity. However, there are many Muslims and Arabs who curse Hitler for not finishing the job.
Right, okay. Right.
Okay? And don't forget that the Mufti took part.
Right.
Mufti Hajj Amin al-Husseini, the Palestinian,
Active partner.
he was active partner in the extermination of the Jews of Hungary in 1944.
Right.
He went to Yugoslavia to recruit Muslims from Bosnia and Herzegovina in order to guard the bridges of the trains which took the Jews from Hungary to Auschwitz to be exterminated, and to guard the bridges so the partisans, the fighters, will not be able to blow them up. So definitely he took part in this final solution.
But it was more than that. Wasn't he being preparing the groundwork to be able to do the final solution here in Israel for the Jews
here in Israel,
and the Middle East?
Yes, there were preparations to establish or to build crematoria in Emek Dotan, not far from Nablus.
Wow.
Where, okay, and the Jews, as a kind of to defend themselves, prepared a stronghold in the Carmel to defend themselves.
The last stand,
resort,
right?
yes, in order to survive vis-a-vis the Nazis. So thanks to the British and the others who fought against the Nazis, but here when it comes to the British, we must actually commemorate something very, very problematic. The British Empire actually put a siege on the land of Israel and did not let Jews run away from Europe before the war and during the war to the land of Israel, as they were obliged by the mandate which they got. In this way, could be that they actually took part in the Holocaust. Why? It is well believed by historians that Hitler did not intend to exterminate the Jews. He wanted to get rid of them, to send them to any country which will take them. Countries did not accept Jews.
Right.
And as you might remember, a ship named St. Louis
Right. Went all around the world.
all around the world, trying to bring some 900 Jews.
From Germany. Right. No country would take it, had to go all the way back to Germany.
But the British, if they allowed Jews to come to the land of Israel,
Interesting.
the Nazis
Would not have
killed them. And actually the British behavior against the Jews, which did not allow them to come freely to the land of Israel, pushed Hitler
To the final solution.
to the last solution, final solution,
Wow.
because there was no other way to get rid of the Jews, which actually he would do willingly by shipping them to anywhere.
Wow.
So we can also say it's something about the Americans who didn't accept Jews in other nations, and of course the British, who did not allow the Jews to come to the land of Israel.
Right.
And
Thought of it from that angle.
those nations, and truth should be said, pushed Hitler in a way or another
Right.
to exterminate the Jews.
Wow.
6 million Jews.
All right, everybody who's joined, I'm sitting here with Dr. Mordechai Kedar. We are talking about Monique Schwartz's movie Beyond Paranoia. The new anti-Semitism today is anti-Israelism, and let's. Why is it important for this movie to be seen, for communities to have this movie, for people to be able to internalize the messages of what Monique is giving across in Beyond Paranoia?
Because this movie actually delves to the depth of the hatred against Jews. It's not about Israel. Israel is only a fig leaf. It's about the Jews, their religion, their heritage, their being a Jewish people, which unfortunately too many people in the world, especially the Western world, have not yet accepted.
Right. And again, I'm going to end actually with a quote that a non-Jew actually said, and I was there and I heard it right in front of him. I have him on tape saying it to me. Governor Mike Huckabee of the United States, and this is a quote, I pinned this tweet where I quoted him. He said, Jews have to remember, they don't hate you because of where you live, meaning Israel. They hate you because of who you are. And that's a scary thought, but that is reality. And here is a non-Jew telling us something about the reality today that many Jews don't want to internalize.
Well, don't forget it. He sees things from the other side.
That's true.
Because as a devoted Christian, he sees and he hears what happens around him. And people would say things in his presence which they will not say in Jewish presence.
Sure.
Because it's not politically correct.
Sure.
So if he says it, we should take it on face value. We have no luxury not to take things like this on face value.
Thank you so much for your time, Dr. Mordechai Kedar.
Thank you.
Monique Schwartz's movie, Beyond Paranoia, if you want to bring it to your community, you have an organization, this is very, very important. It's basically showing all of us today, young and old, that the true anti-Israel agenda today, that is the new form of anti-Semitism, and very, very important for people to internalize that. 1 second, let's look at some of the comments we're getting, because it would interrupt the two-state solution. I'm missing some of that. Why don't people get that AZ is just a proxy for AS? All right, I'm missing that. All right, folks, it's late. I'm going to get out of here. I'll look at the comments later. If you want to bring this movie Beyond Paranoia to your community, the trailer is up in the text. The email address to bring it to your community, your organization, is up in the text. Take care, everyone. Shalom from the Holy Land of Israel.